1:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Romesh Piris and read by Niranjan Abesundara. President Ranil Wickremesinghe met his Singaporean counterpart, Madam Halima Yaacob, in Singapore. Agriculture Minister pledges immediate solution to issues in purchasing paddy from farmers. Residential Department reiterates special notice to the public stating no expiry date for copies of birth and death and marriage certificates. State Minister of Finance says import restriction will be lifted only after strict supervision. 14,000 acres of crops destroyed in Luwalawe due to arid weather. The first Kumbal Perihara to parade the streets of Kandy today. International news, Ukraine Sky Shield getting strong as allies supply coveted F-16s. Sports badminton, Sri Lanka's young shuttlers win gold at Nepal. The President Media Division announced that President Ranil Wickremesinghe has met Singapore's President, Madam Halima Yaacob, a short while ago in Singapore. Head of State left for a two-day official visit to Singapore this morning, along with a series of significant meetings planned. Furthermore, the President is scheduled to hold discussions with Singapore's Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, Defence Minister Ng Eng Hen, and Sustainability and Environment Minister Grace Fu Ha Yen. The PMD noted that a cooperative understanding concerning carbon neutrality within the framework of the Paris Agreement will be established between the governments of Sri Lanka and Singapore. The signing of this agreement is anticipated after deliberations between the President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Prime Minister of Singapore. Meanwhile, in the President Wickremesinghe's absence, 4 acting ministers have been designated to oversee the ministries under his purview. Accordingly, Minister of State for Defence, Pramita Bandar Thenakot, has been appointed as Acting Minister of Defence. Minister of State for Finance, Srihan Semasinga, and Acting Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilisation and National Policy, Minister of State of Technology, Kanaka Herath, Acting Minister of Technology and Minister of State for Social Empowerment, Anupam Pascal, have been appointed as Acting Minister of Women, Child Affairs and Social Empowerment. The Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaravira, stated that immediate steps will be taken to solve the problems that have arisen in purchasing paddy from farmers. The Minister further stated that since the Paddy Marketing Board has not allocated enough money for the purchasing of paddy, a certain amount of paddy has been purchased with the funds received from the Treasury. In light of the situation, the Minister said that farmers are not interested in selling paddy due to not getting expected price. He stated the above while responding to problems raised by the parliamentarians regarding the purchase of paddy at the Ministerial Consultative Committee meeting on agriculture held in Parliament recently. The Parliament Committee Department said in a statement. The Minister pointed out that even if paddy is purchased at a minimum fixed price for the purchase of paddy, the Paddy Marketing Board will have to sell rice at a price lower than the price. Given the situation, he informed steps will be taken to solve the problems related to the purchase of paddy through discussions with the relevant parties. State Minister of Finance Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the country's import restriction will be lifted only after strict supervision in order to prevent the emergence of another economic crisis. Speaking to the media, the State Minister emphasized that the country cannot ban imports in the long term. State Minister emphasized that the government was compelled to stop 3,000 harmonized system codes to protect foreign reserves, which had become zero. He noted that since implementation of the harmonized system codes, foreign reserves had increased to $3 billion. State Minister of Finance further stressed that the country cannot ban imports in the long term. The country should gradually be opened. Further, he said that focus on a positive economy and to expand the country's economy, the most important thing is to provide the necessary facilities for international trade. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
210,652 people living in 15 districts have been affected by the dry weather that has affected the island. Those districts are Ratnapura, Trincomalee, Batticaloa, Ampara, Puttalam, Kurunegala, Jaffna, Mannar, Mullaitivu, Jaffna, Badulla, Manoragala, Hambantota, Gampaha and Matale. Meanwhile, the Agriculture and Agriculture Board say that 3 teams have been deployed today to calculate crop losses in the Duvalu area. Its chairman, Madhu Bandara Veerasekara, said information has been received that 14,000 acres of crops have been damaged in the Duvalu area. The first Kumbal Perihara of this year's Asal Perihara Festival of the Temple of the Tooth Relic will parade the streets today. The Kumbal Perihara will parade the streets from today for 5 days till the 25th of August. Meanwhile, Randol Perihara will take to the streets of Kandy from the 26th of August. The final Randol procession will be held on the 31st of August. Kandy Asal Festival will conclude with the water cutting ceremony and the day procession. A closing ceremony of the Kandy Asal Perihara will be held on the patronage of the President Alakram Singer at the President's House in Kandy. That was local news.
Listen, no fake news, false flags, it is the real thing. Breaking records, making history, you know we got the big bling. 10 billion bonus all across the island. Ka-ching! Not millions, talking billions, yeah, it is the big win.
History's highest ever short bonus declaration for SLIC life policyholders in 2022 exceeds 10 billion rupees.
10 billion bonus gonna make your dreams come true. 10 billion bonus for you.
Sri Lanka Insurance, like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Registrar General Department announced that certified copies of birth, marriage and death certificates issued by Department will not further be invalidated following months of issuance. The Calling Department mentioned that the previous regulations imposed in order to invalidate the relevant documents after 6 months of this issuance has been lifted. The department informed that accordingly, if there is a certified copy of any certificate issued by the Registrar General Department, there is no need to obtain a new copy. However, according to the department, a new copy of the relevant document must be obtained only if an amendment has been made to them. The General Department has notified the Ministries of Education, Foreign Affairs, Department of Immigration and Immigration, and also Department of Registration of Persons in this regard.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
A group of 120 specialty doctors who have not returned to work leaving for overseas have been blacklisted. Minister of Health said 363 doctors had left for training overseas, returned to Sri Lanka during the time period of January 9, 2022 to August 18, 2023. Among them, 120 doctors had once again migrated. 2 anesthesiologists out of Sri Lanka 29 had also migrated. The Ministry of Health said that the blacklisted doctors can return to the country, but they must submit an appeal to the Public Service Commission to practice medicine. That came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
On to world news, Ukraine's Sky Shield getting stronger as allies supply coveted F-16s. Tropical storm Hillary drenches usually arid southern California. Added 30,000 households in British Columbia told to evacuate. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky has welcomed a historic decision by Netherlands and Denmark to provide US-made F-16 fighter jets for his country to counter Russia's invasion. Zelensky saw the advanced warplanes for months to strengthen Ukraine's Soviet-era air force as it pursues a grinding counteroffensive against Russian forces in the east. Washington announced its approval of the F-16 transfers on Friday, and training of Ukraine pilots is set to begin this month, which may allow Ukraine to begin deploying the jets in early 2024. Heavy rain has deluged parts of Southern California, with forecasters warning of a potentially historic amount of rain and severe flooding in the usually arid part of the United States. A tropical storm Hillary raced in Mexico. As of Sunday afternoon in Southern California, Hillary had sustained maximum winds of 95 kilometers per hour. The storm, an exceedingly rare event for Southern California, was moving at 37 kilometers per hour. California Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for much of Southern California. In a White House statement, U.S. President Joe Biden said the federal government had deployed emergency teams and resources ahead of the storm. Administration stands ready to provide additional assistance as requested. About 30,000 households have been ordered to evacuate in Canada's British Columbia province, where nearly 400 wildfires are raging. 2 huge fires in Shaswap region merged overnight, destroying blocks of houses and other buildings. To south travel to the water city of Kellowa has been restricted and smoke from the nearby fires hangs over Lake Okanagan. Fires have been charred homes in western Kellowa, a nearby city of 36,000. Hundreds of miles north, a huge fire continues to edge towards the city of Yellowknife. But 9,000 of the city's 20,000 inhabitants have been evacuated. Back to the headlines of the world news. Ukraine's Sky Shield getting strong as allied supply covered at F-16s. Tropical storm Hillary enters usually added southern California. At 30,000 households in British Columbia are told to evacuate. That was world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities from Deshakti Lanka in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, including company housemaid, salary 156,000 rupees, 23 to 57 years. Contact 037 7500 500.
Minister of Public Works and Minor Ports of Tamil Nadu, E.V. Velu, says the ferry service between India and Sri Lanka will revive historical maritime ties between the two nations. Speaking at a meeting of Coastal States Development Committee held at Kavidia in Gujarat, Minister Velu told the Nagapattinam port in Tamil Nadu was getting ready to offer the ferry service to Sri Lanka. Minister told that while Nagapattinam port is getting ready for the ferry service to Kankasanture, discussions to commence the ferry service between Rameshwaram and Talamana were also underway.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Company housemaids, caretakers and home cooks in Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 57 years. Salary starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can now travel overseas free of charge. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Mathura. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Development Agency.
On to sports news, badminton, Sri Lanka's young shuttlers clinched the gold medal in both under-17 and under-15 age groups at South Asia Regional Junior Badminton Championships held at the National Sports Council in Tirupati in Kathmandu. Sri Lanka defeated Bangladesh 3-2 in the under-17 final and defeated Nepal 3-0 in the final of the under-15 event. Ranit Maliyanage, Hiruka Sanamit, Adut Patipandige, Ranumi Manage and Tisada Veragoda competed in the under-17 competition, while Sanut Setwena Pereira, Netmi Amaya Ratnayaka, Kenneth Akragoda and Situli Ranasinghe competed in the under-15 competition. That was sports news.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Kandy Perahera is a unique fusion of two processions, Asala and Dalada, that span for 10 days in different routes. The Perahera will now be available for everybody's convenience on Surya QR code so that the general public can find out the route and how to get the best seating on that day. The Sun Match Company, the 40-year-old company hailing from the Kandy district, takes pride in making the Kandy Perahera contemporary, which is one of the most sought-after events in Sri Lanka and marketed globally for foreign visitors to come to Sri Lanka. Surya recently launched the Surya incense sticks in 14 variants.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekatiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news, the Power Regulator, Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka on Thursday has given approval to the Sri Lanka City Board to purchase 100 megawatts of electricity for a period of 6 months on a short-term basis. Approval of the PUCSL had been granted to the transmitter license under Section 43(4)(c)(2) of Sri Lanka Electricity Board Act No. 20 of 2009 as amended to proceed with the procurement process for adding a generation capacity of 100 megawatts in the southern area on short-term basis for a period of 6 months from 18th of August 2023.
Weather report.
Met Department predicts a few showers in the western Sabaragoa provinces and the Gaur and Mathura districts today. Met Department also said showers and thunder showers can be expected in a few places in the Mullaitivu district during the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Meanwhile, fairly strong winds up to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times the western slopes of Central Hills, North Central and Northwestern provinces, and the Trincomalee, Hambantota and Monragala districts. That was Weather Report, and back to the headlines of the news. Pranab Wickremesinghe meets his Singaporean counterpart, Madam Halima Yaacob, in Singapore. Agriculture Minister pledges immediate solution to issues in purchasing paddy for the farmers. Return Department reiterates special notice to the public stating no expiry date for copies of birth and death and marriage certificates. State Minister of Finance says the import restriction will be lifted only after strict supervision. 14,000 acres of crops destroyed in the Duvalwe due to the arid weather. First Kumbal Perhara to parade the streets of Kandy today. World News: Ukraine's Sky Shield getting strong as allies supply coveted F-16s. Sports badminton: Sri Lanka's young shuttlers win gold at Nepal. With that, we end the afternoon's broadcast.